How's it going, everybody? So a couple of years ago, I started working for DoorDash to earn some extra money on the side and to save up a little bit of money. And in the process, I actually learned a lot of different things about business, about small business, about kind of running your own business and different things like that. Because when you work for DoorDash, you're an independent contractor and you kind of become familiar with some of those different things. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the important lessons I learned and some of the things that really helped me kind of expand my horizons. So the first thing I learned was when you're working as an independent contractor, more specifically for DoorDash, you can't really look at it as an hourly paying type job. You can't say, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to earn $30 per hour working for DoorDash delivering orders, because that's not exactly the way it works. You go out, and when I first started, DoorDash was having me drive all over the place. So the first night I drove over 100 miles and I made about $70, and I was working for probably 5 hours. So if you add it all up, it didn't end up really paying all that great. And I ended up paying a lot in gas because my car didn't get super good gas mileage and I drove really far. So I can't really say, oh, I made $14 per hour, because then I had to go the next day and fill my tank with gas, which cost me 50 bucks. And so there goes most of the money that I made. So when you have a small business or you're doing this kind of stuff, you can't really look at it as an hourly job. And especially if you're doing some other sort of side hustle or side gig, it's not a start at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish at 5 o'clock at night. A lot of times you are running almost 24/7. You'll be doing different things and you think at night when you're trying to go to bed, oh, I need to go buy these supplies tomorrow. Or if I buy these tools, it'll make this run more efficiently. And then if you buy those tools, then that's money that you spent from your business. And so you can't really look at all of these different things as an hourly thing or an hourly paying type job. Another thing that I learned is that you can write off so many different things as a tax deduction. So when I was a DoorDash driver, I wanted to get a phone mount for my car. And I wanted this not only for business use, but also personal use. But because I needed it for business use for DoorDash, it was technically a tax deduction. So I was able to buy that and write it off as a tax deduction, and it also made it so that I was paying less in taxes because I was able to use it as a business expense. And there are so many other things that you can write off as business expenses, and that ends up saving you tons of money. So that was something that I didn't know anything about, because in my regular full-time job, or my W-2 job, I guess you would say, you can't really do that. You can't write off things that you buy for your job as a tax deduction. But if you have a small business, then there are many different things that you can write off. And once you start learning all the different rules and all the different things that you can do, then there are people that write off all sorts of stuff as tax deductions. And this ends up saving you a lot of money, and there's a lot of advantages to having your own business and doing all these different things. So that was another thing that I learned that I had no idea, that tax deductions are a huge thing when you have your own business or you're doing this type of contractor work. The third thing that I learned was that starting a side hustle is, well, for a long time I thought it was really hard. It was something that was tough to do. It was nearly impossible. And some things can seem kind of hard to do. But once you get started, you realize that it's not as impossible as you thought it was. It's just the biggest thing holding you back is your own mind. And trying to get over that fear of failure, getting over that fear of starting and things not working out right, that's the hardest part. Once you're able to break past that barrier and actually start, then you actually start dealing with all the different things and you realize, oh, this really isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So the key takeaway from this is that just try it. And if you fail, then it won't be a waste of your time. You'll learn so much from just starting your side hustle. If you've been waiting to start that Etsy store, but you've just been afraid to start, or if you've been thinking about being a DoorDash driver, if you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, if you've been thinking about doing all these different things, the only thing holding yourself back is you. Now, a lot of times there is some sort of investment that you have to put in, but usually people overdo it. They want to start a YouTube channel. They think, oh, I have to have the best camera. I have to have good lights. I have to have a microphone. I have to have all this stuff. And I have to have all this knowledge. I need to know how to edit and do all these different things. And you overcomplicate it. You could start a YouTube channel with nothing but your phone. You could take a video on your phone and go outside where there's good light and just start sharing your ideas, because there's people that want to hear what you have to say, and you're just holding yourself back by not starting. So that was another thing that I learned, that I kind of wish that I wouldn't have put things off, is that it's really not as impossible as it seems. So that was another key lesson that I learned. So overall, DoorDash ended up being a good thing, and also it ended up being kind of a waste of my time. But it wasn't a total waste in the end, because I learned so much from it. Yeah, I ended up not liking it as much, and it ended up not being really worth my time to continue. But I learned so much from it. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about taxes. I learned about all these different things that if I hadn't done DoorDash, then I wouldn't have gained this extra knowledge. And so it ended up being really beneficial for me, even though I didn't continue doing it. But I started pursuing other side hustles, and it was one of the main reasons that I started doing YouTube. And so it ended up being worth it in the end. I ended up learning a lot of different things, and I'm really glad that I finally made that leap of faith to jump in and start doing things, because it taught me so much more about the world of business and making money outside of just my normal job. It made me realize that I can go out, I can do these other things and make more money, and also find ways to get out of my regular 9-to-5 job, because I don't want to be working my 9-to-5 job forever. And some of these other things are a lot more fun, and they bring you a lot more fulfillment and joy than working at your 9-to-5 job. So if there's something that you've been waiting or you've been hesitating to do, I challenge you to take that first step. Jump in, at least get started, and even if you fail, you will learn so much, and it'll be worth your time, definitely. So thanks everybody for watching. Let me know in the comments the different things you've learned about business from your side hustles, or some of the side hustles that you've liked, that you haven't liked, some of your failures, some of your successes, and that way we can all learn about it together. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.